Control, go ahead, over.
Bill before in parts and clauses. So this first, we are going to put clause 1, part 1, sorry, clauses 1 to 4. There are no amendments?
There are no proposed
Those
amendments other than what is circulated.
Those against? As of it. I want to put part 2, clauses 5 to 14. Are there any amendment in those?
Chairman, as circulated. As circulated. As circulated on the amendment sheet.
There's an amendment.
Chairman, I had earlier indicated that...
Those in favor of the amendment? Those opposed? I put part 2, clause 5 to 14. Those in favor? Aye. Those against? As of it. I put part 3, clauses 15 to 19. Are there any amendments?
We have an amendment. In respect of clause 9, the amendment is to the schedule. So the clause stays as is. It is constituted in accordance with the schedule, and the amendment goes to the schedule. Right. The amendment to the schedule. Yes. So, Chairman, in respect of part 2, clauses 5 to 19, the amendments are as circulated on the amendment sheet.
Is that part 3, not 2?
Is that in part 2?
Part 3.
See, this is confusion.
Part 2, clauses 5 to 14.
That was passed already.
Was that Chairman?
As circulated.
Is that Chairman? Is that Chairman? Mr. Chairman? I want to ask a question. What do you mean? Is that Chairman? Mr. Chairman, are you hear me, sir? I was at clause 36. I wanted to ask a question. The question... What you say? What you say?
I'll tell you when we read. When we get in, I'll tell you.
Mr. Fagan, you have a concern with what clause?
I understand that we are not there as yet, sir. 36.
Mr. Speaker, clause 26 when you get there, sir. Okay?
If you have a concern about clause 26, we are not there yet. We are at clauses 15 to 19. And there is an amendment there.
Yes, we know that. We know that.
I put the amendment.
Chairman, in addition to the amendments as circulated on the sheet of amendments, there is a further amendment to clause 19. We're going to insert as number 3 on the list of amendments. So we're deleting subsection 5 and substituting, therefore, the following as 5. A registered individual to whom a national identification card has been issued shall notify the authority of any error in the database of which the individual is aware, and any change in the information entered in the database as it relates to that individual.
I've heard the amendment. Those in favor? Aye. Those against? As of it. I now put part 3, clauses 15 to 19, Attorney General.
Yes.
As circulated, Chairman.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? As of it.
I'm sorry, Chairman. I'm sorry. Shall we commit clause 20? Recommit clause 20.
Part 4, clauses 20 to 22. Any amendment?
In addition to what is circulated on the amendment sheet, 29, subclause 9. Every person who refuses or fails without reasonable excuse to apply to the authority for enrollment in the database in accordance with this section commits an offense and shall be liable on conviction to the penalty specified in relation to that offense in the 4th schedule. And then we have a new 20 sub 10. For the purposes of the Criminal Records Rehabilitation of Offenders Act, a contravention of this section shall not form part of the criminal record of the offender.
Those in favor of the amendment? Aye. Those against? As of it. I now put clauses 20 to 22. Those in favor?
Chairman, just to say, on the amendment sheet, there is a correction to clause 21. So we have clause 21, 1, we're in subsection 1, we're doing a deletion. In 2, we're inserting next after subsection 3 the following. We're to delete what appears on the amendment sheet as 4, and we change 5 to 4.
Those in favor of the amendment? Aye. Those against? As of it. I now put clauses 20 to 22 as amended. Those in favor? Aye. Those against? As of it. I'm going to put part 5, clauses 23 to 24. Are there any amendment?
23 to 24 are good, Mr. Chairman.
No amendment? I put clauses 23 to 24. Those in favor? Aye. Those against? As of it. I want to put part 6, clauses 25 to 40. Are there any amendments?
We do have an amendment at clause 29. On the amendment sheet as circulated, we have an A and a B. At B, we have returned to the authority under section 36.4, 35.3, or 36.1. It should read, return to the authority under section 35.3, 36.1, or 36.4. Yes.
Mr. Chairman, this is where the member wanted to ask a question on clause 26.
No, not 20. 36. 36. 36.
Why not try about that?
Where are we?
Turn off the mic down there. Turn off one.
And then they could try it.
Chairman, we have amendments to clause 34, 35, 36 as circulated. In respect of clause 36, at subclause 4 on the amendment sheet, we have a further amendment. So, at 4, which says the holder of a national identification card who ceases to be a citizen or to be ordinarily resident in Jamaica shall return his national identification card to the authority within 60 days of ceasing to be a citizen or being ordinarily resident in Jamaica is being amended as follows. The holder...
You have heard the amendment.
No, Chairman. No, we're amending the amendment. The holder of a national identification card, we're deleting who ceases and replacing that with upon ceasing. So the holder of a national identification card, upon ceasing to be a citizen or to be ordinarily resident in Jamaica shall return his national identification card to the authority forthwith. So we would delete from within to Jamaica and replace with forthwith.
Suppose them not hand over the card. That is like
So that's in the bungalow 25 to 40.
when they read Maryland.
So as is, it's in the disjunctive. So if you cease to be a citizen or you cease to be ordinarily resident in Jamaica, so your entitlement to hold the card is on one of two bases. So as a citizen or as an ordinary resident of Jamaica. So if you cease to be one or the other. About
You're a citizen, you still hold it. It doesn't affect you.
You remain a citizen. But you don't live here. You live in New York.
Right.
You have a green card. But you're a citizen of Jamaica.
Yes.
You're entitled to the rights of citizenship.
Yes.
You may come here. You would not, the way it is now drafted by you, I would be required to give it up.
It says once you're a citizen, if you're a citizen.
No, it is, no, she said it read disjunctively. And therefore, if you either cease to be a citizen or cease to be ordinarily resident, to my mind, what we should be seeking is that if you cease to be a citizen and cease to be ordinarily resident,
But
right?
you have two categories of persons. You have persons who reside in Jamaica who are not citizens of Jamaica,
Right.
who the scheme of the law would require them to be entered in the database if they so choose, so you can know who resides within your
if
realm.
they so choose.
Right,
or
because
is
when you look on what is in the Charter of Rights, it speaks not only to citizens but persons who are present in Jamaica. So if you look back on that, you would see. And I think that is what it is accounting for. No,
we all know,
2 cents.
I know, but we all know of the thousands of Jamaicans who come, they visit, they live in Brooklyn or Fort Lauderdale, and they come down. Some of them come down and they vote, they register here, and they no. I mean, I'm talking real life, huh? No, in the way it is drafted, they are. You need to read it more than just talk to me.
So let's look at it again. Let's look at it again. Hold on. Let's look at it again. The holder of a national identification card, upon ceasing to be a citizen or to be ordinarily resident in Jamaica, shall return his national identification card to the authority.
So you're saying
Forthwith.
it should be and.
36. Hold on.
So you're neither citizen or resident. If you're neither of those two categories, then you turn. No. So change it or to
6 months you're a visitor. There.
I crave your. Through you, Chairman, to the Leader of Opposition Business, this is what the clause-by-clause review is meant to do. We're just seeking some clarification, and then we can look at it. Chairman, just in the interim, while we sort out, through you to the Leader of the Opposition and Leader of Government Business. So the entire clause 36, if you want to look at it, speaks to the circumstances in which you are obligated to return the national identification card. Circumstances where it is lost and found or certain other things happening.
Okay. So mine was start then too? Oh. All right. That's it? Oh, I thought the end was the major highway.
Chairman, we are going to ask that we move beyond clause 36 and have it recommitted at a later stage.
In clause 6,
36.
in clause, sorry, in part 6, clauses 25 to 40, you have an amendment to 36, 35. Those in favor of the amendment?
Chairman.
Those opposed?
All right, just touch it once. Touch your mic once, okay? Just touch it one time.
Mr. Fagan,
Mr. Chairman,
are you
I'm still
opposing
at
the
36, but
amendment?
I'm at 3. At 3.
Which
36.
clause are you talking?
I wanted to get an understanding because I don't see where anything would have changed from, I mean, even though there's a little amendment. Because what it is asking is that for representative of the person who has died to bring in the ID. I was thinking, Mr. Chairman, we have a registrar of.
What clause are you talking?
We are 36. 36.3. An amendment.
Chairman, through you, just to have a sense of what the member is proposing.
What the question I want to ask is whether or not there could be something to say that the death. You have a registrar of birth and death, I think. I think we have a registrar of birth and death. Yes. Why is it that something cannot be linked into that particular agency, so that as soon as the death is registered, electronically it goes to the authority. Once the death is registered, instead of waiting for somebody, because I don't believe that anything will change in what teams know.
It's a valid point you're raising, because and the system is incorporating the Registrar General. So if you would like, currently it says, so the entire clause deals with the return of national identification card. Simply says that if the holder of the card dies, the card shall be returned by the personal representative.
Yes,
as soon as it's practicable.
But the authority would not know that there is a debt unless the card is returned. So once the death certificate is registered, there should be a link electronically to that cancels the debt into the
The point makes sense.
Remember, the point is valid on the surface, but remember what this provision, so operating in the background of the database, once the debt has been certified, then the ID is the number, the national identification number is deactivated. So, however, the issue is someone having a card that is deactivated in their possession and the potential mischief that they could do, which is why we impose a duty to have the card, which is different from the number, returned. In other words, so what you are suggesting is already being done in the background. Precisely, already being done. But these amendments are to deal with the mischief of someone possessing a card that is deactivated, which is standard. So the card is deactivated, but you wouldn't want somebody to go and present their ID that is an ID that is deactivated. So you place a duty to have all deactivated cards, whether it is by death or they have given up citizenship or residency, to have them turned in. You place that.
So
duty.
the RGD would have a responsibility to get in touch with those persons to have the cards returned. Because there's on a voluntary basis, it's not going to be done.
Well, so remember, what we're trying to create is a duty on the person who holds the card. And that duty, I'm not sure if penalties are applied to it.
It does.
But yes, penalties are applied to the duty. So it creates a duty.
So Mr. Chairman, can this be stated? Or you just want to have to leave it in hanging?
Attorney General, in part 6, clauses 25 to 40, you have an amendment.
Chairman, we have an amendment to clause 39, which is circulated. There are no further amendments to the amendment. We also have amendment to clause 41, as appears on the sheet. We have an amendment at clause 43. We also have an amendment at clause 44. And we have a further amendment.
Before you get there, let us put clauses 25 to 40. The amendment first. Those in favor of the amendment? Aye. Those opposed? Amendment is carried. I now put clauses 25 to 40 as amended. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. I need to put...
Chairman, except for clause 36 that we're clarifying. In part 5 of the bill, we have committed all of the clauses except for clause 36, which we will ask for a recommittal on. Parts 5 cover clauses 23 to 38. We're standing down clause 36, which we will later recommit when we have worked out the amendments from the debate. So in respect of part 5, we would commit the amendments as appear on the amendment sheet, with the exception of clause 36. So we're now...
So you just recommit 36 when you get the amendment? I'm trying to... Yes.
Yes.
Can you just make him continue? We'll recommit the 36 when we come back. Can you continue, please? We'll recommit 36 when we come back, right?
When it comes.
You have a solution now?
Yes. So ordinarily resident is defined under
So in the electoral act. So stop him.
Part 7, clauses 41. Clause 41.
In clause 41, as appears on the amendment sheet, we're merely deleting the marginal note and substituting delivery of goods and services, as appears on the amendment sheet.
I put the amendment to clause 41. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? I now put
Mr.
clause
Speaker.
41 as amended.
Aye.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? As have it.
Mr. Speaker, I hear you taking amendment clause by clause here. If I recall, at the beginning she says the amendment as tabled, and you put it to the floor, amendment as tabled. We accepted it. So how are we going back clause by clause in the amendment? She asked for it to be taken as tabled, and we did.
You have a difference, you put a resolution and we'll put it to the floor.
No. She put it already. She put it, say, amendment as tabled. She and you put it to the floor. We said yes. We already accepted this.
Member, you are correct, except that the Attorney General is putting additional amendment to the amendment.
Additional amendments are different. What you are looking at this and calling amendments. So you leave this entirely and just take the individual amendments that she's given.
Okay, we are at part 7, clause 41. You have an amendment.
Before we proceed to clause 47, I'll ask for a recommittal of clause 36 so that we can deal with the amendment to the amendment that appears on the sheet. So we are amending what appears on the list of amendment to clause 36, subclause 4. So we're deleting what is there and we're substituting for the new subclause 4. The holder of a national identification card shall return his national identification card to the authority forthwith if the holder no longer falls within any of the following categories. A citizen of Jamaica, or B, an individual who is ordinarily resident in Jamaica.
You have heard the amendment. Those in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Those against? As of it.
So where you going?
So
That's what I said.
I now put the amended clause. That's Attorney General, that's clause 36. I put clause 36
Attorney
as amended.
General.
Those in favor? Those against? As of it.
Or Dennis Hall.
Chairman, the next amendment is to be taken in part 8 at clause 46, in addition to the amendments that are set out on the list of amendments on the amending sheet. So at clause 45, we're amending 45 to insert as number 3 in the list of amendments. 3, in subsection 3, insert the word or at the end of subparagraph 2. And then 4, in subsection 4, delete paragraphs B and C and substitute therefore the following. B, the facts or allegations giving rise to the application, and C, such other information as is necessary for the judge to make the order. Third and fourth schedule.
You have heard the amendment. Those in favor of the amendment? Those opposed? The ayes have it. I put clauses. Do I now put clause 42 to 45, Attorney General?
Yes, Chairman.
Those in favor? Those opposed? As of it. We are at part 9, clauses 46 to 47. Are there amendment?
No, Chairman.
I put clause 46 to 47. Those in favor? Those against? As of it. I put part 10, clauses 48 to 54. Are there any amendment?
As appears on the sheet.
Thank you, Mr. Warmington. I put clauses 48 to 54. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? As of it.
Next one.
I put part 11, clauses 55 to 61. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? As of it.
That look promising.
I am at part 12, clauses 62 to 65. clause 62 to 65. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? As of it.
Job next, right, Sam Mali?
I put the first schedule. Those in favor?
We have an amendment to the first schedule, Chairman.
There's an amendment to the first schedule.
We also have an amendment at clause 59,
59,
to the
right.
review.
We're going back to 59, Chairman. 59, okay?
Recommitting 59. 18 months.
You find 59 there?
59.
Those in favor of recommitting
Chairman, I
clause
crave your
59?
indulgence.
Members, if you don't vote, we'll vote it out.
69, you were 15.
You would like clause 59 to be recommitted?
Clause 59, Chairman, we're deleting the words 3 years and substituting therefore 18 months.
That's in clause 59.
Clause 59, subclause 2.
Those in favor of that amendment?
Aye.
Those against? Ayes have it. I now put clause 51 as amended.
59
Those in
too.
favor?
Yes.
Yes, sir, 59. I now put clause 59 as amended. Those in favor? Those against? Ayes have it. Do we go back to the first schedule?
First schedule, Chairman.
Those in favor?
In the
Those
first
against? Ayes have
schedule,
it. I put the second schedule.
Chairman, the first schedule is being amended further to the debate and discussions when we took the short adjournment. So we're deleting paragraph 1(5) of the first schedule, and we're substituting, therefore, the following as 5. The appointed members of the board shall be appointed by the Governor General on the advice of the Prime Minister after consultation with the Leader of the Opposition. And we're deleting paragraph 9 of the first schedule and substituting, therefore, the following. Resignation. 9(1). Any member other than the chairman may at any time resign his office by instrument in writing, addressed to the Governor General, and transmitted through the chairman, and from the date of receipt by the Governor General of the instrument, the member shall cease to be a member. 2, the chairman may at any time resign his office by instrument in writing, addressed to the Governor General and transmitted through the minister, and the resignation shall take effect as from the date of receipt by the Governor General of the instrument. Then at paragraph 10, we're deleting the word minister and substituting the words Governor General on the advice of the Prime Minister after consultation with the Leader of the Opposition.
And that's in the first schedule.
First schedule.
That's an amendment to the first schedule. Those in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Those against? As of it. I put the first schedule as amended. Those in favor? Those against? As of it. I put the second schedule. Is there an amendment to that?
As appears.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? As of it. I put the third schedule. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? As of it. I put the fourth schedule.
We have an amendment to the fourth
You have
schedule,
an amendment?
Chairman, starting with what appears on the amendment sheet. So we see fourth schedule, 1, 2, and then we have another 2. That 2 should be changed to 3.
You heard the amendment to
And
the
the
fourth
3
schedule.
on page 12 of the amendment sheet should be changed to 4.
Okay.
We're
so
also inserting, Chairman, immediately before the entry relating to clause 34(6), under the appropriate column, the following.
and that's an
20,
amendment to the fourth schedule.
yes, Chairman.
You have heard the amendment. Those in
20,
favor?
no, the amendment has not been fully read.
Reading it now.
Those against?
Chairman, the amendment is being done now. So 20, we're inserting immediately before the entry relating to clause 34, subclause 6, under the appropriate columns, the following. 20, sub 9, refusing or failing without reasonable excuse to apply to the authority for enrollment in the database, in the first column. And then in the second column, on summary conviction in a parish court to a fine not exceeding $100,000.
And that's in the fourth schedule?
Asking you to recommend the third schedule.
That's in the fourth schedule.
Chairman.
Before we put that, Minister Smith, will you move that we sit beyond 7:20? Well, the question is that I do report progress and seek leave of the House to sit again. You have to go.
You're going to recommit to third schedule before you continue, right? Yes. Yeah, man. Yes, I'm trying. What do you think that is?
Mr. Speaker.
Okay.
Members, I do report progress and seek leave of the House to sit again. Those in favor? Aye. Those against? As of it.
Mr. Speaker, time being 7:28, I move that the House sits beyond 7:20.
Those in favor? Aye. Those against? As of it. The House will now resolve itself into a committee of the whole House to continue consideration of the National Identification and Registration Act 2017.
Chairman, I'm asking for a recommittal of the third schedule. On the amendment sheet relating to the third schedule, that's on page 10 of the amendment sheet. In the area under other biometric information, B3.
Resolution, right? Those in favor of recommitting the third schedule? Those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? As of it. Go
Chairman,
ahead.
I direct your attention
Page
to
10.
page 10 of the list of amendments.
At what? B3.
At the section entitled Other Biometric Information, B3(1). We're amending 1 to delete all the words after individual. So we're deleting may be included in the database.
Okay. All right.
So the amendment should read any distinguishing feature, including physical feature of the individual. Full
Okay,
stop.
you have heard the amendment to the third schedule. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? As of it.
The fifth schedule
I
now.
put the third schedule as amended. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? As of it.
Fifth schedule now.
I put the fourth schedule
We've done that, Chairman.
as amended.
Aye.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? As of it.
Fifth schedule.
I put the fifth schedule.
In respect of the fifth schedule, Chairman, want to direct your attention to page 13 of the sheet of amendment. Paragraph 6, paragraph 6 on page 13. What we have there is delete and substitute, therefore, the following. We're changing that to insert as a subparagraph 3. And it remains as follows. The minister may, on application of the chairman, grant to the chairman leave of absence for any period not exceeding 6 months, and may appoint another member to act as the chairman during the period of leave of absence so granted.
You have heard the amendment to the fifth schedule.
And I have
Those in favor of the amendment?
I have a concern, Mr. Chairman. Yes, sir. The fifth schedule 2.1b, I'm wondering if we should have a C. City Municipal Corporation. We have the Council of Municipal Corporation, but in a case where there's a City Municipal Corporation, like for example Portmore, and you know that the local government is constantly reforming, so there could be other city councils across the country.
Remember, you are dealing with the fifth schedule?
Yes, sir, I'm there. 2B, a member of the Council of the Municipal Corporation, but I'd like to add City Municipal Corporation. No. You have a City Municipal Corporation, separate and apart from a corporation.
I'm sorry, member. If what is provided for there covers all of the contemplation under the new Local Governance Act. So it says a member of the Council of the Kingston and St. Andrew Corporation or any municipal council or any parish council. So in fact, we need to delete any parish council. But it is a council of the municipal corporation.
Yeah, remember, the term now is municipal authority or municipal corporation. Right, so this is using the term council in general, which would incorporate the new municipal corporation.
Two different entities. One is a city corporation that will have to meet at the council, separate and apart from a council that have its own authority. That have its own authority.
All of them are municipal authorities now. Corporation. What is your government process?
It does no injustice. I mean, it doesn't.
So the provision is dealing with ineligibility. So we don't usually exclude persons who are in the city municipality. So if you look at it. So it speaks
Mr. Chairman,
through you, Chairman.
My only concern was that we have two different corporations. We have a KCC, whatever other corporation, parish corporation, as against a city corporation. So I just wanted to find out if in saying what you are saying here, it would take in any city corporation.
So, member, you are proposing that we amend to say a member of the Council of the Kingston and St. Andrew Corporation or any municipal council or any city municipality. Just a minute. Chairman, the amendment would be to delete or any parish council, and it would take care of your concern.
Delete or any parish council. Put that, Chairman. Put it right away.
Crave your indulgence, Chairman. Just crave your... I think, Chairman, through you, the member is addressing the three categories that exist. The Kingston and St. Andrews treated distinctly, and then you have each parish's corporation. And then in addition, in the Portmore municipality is a city municipality. I get your point. I get your point.
I think, just for clarity, you want the distinction to be made. But remember now, this clause is trying to determine who is ineligible to serve. And therefore, the policy is that persons who serve on a city municipality would be eligible.
Parish municipality.
But not in a parish municipality.
Municipal corporation.
Right, because the city municipality is a smaller geographic area that's not necessarily
Elected.
yeah, but normally we don't go below parish council. Agreed, but in some instances we have even allowed parish councillors to serve on boards. Yeah. So you would, from a policy point of view, you would want all elected officials in whatever municipality not to participate. All right, let me.
What is contemplated here, and I understand the point you're making, it makes ineligible for appointment members of the House and senators, and then we're taking it to the local government level. The member is saying all categories of local government. The distinction between the city councillor, city municipal councillor, and the regular municipal corporation councillor doesn't seem reconcilable if you're eliminating that category.
Not seeking to reconcile.
Right. I understand the point. I understand. Because the mischief is to make ineligible a certain set of political persons. Right. And to leave that one remaining would be anomalous. Understood.
Current instance where we have a municipality.
It's clear.
They are both.
It is understood.
It's
member.
impatient.
So
it is
do we
understood.
proceed?
Chairman, I
Clause
crave your
5?
indulgence while the Minister, Prime Minister, is just conferred. This is what clause by clause is meant to do. This is what clause by clause is meant to do.
The advice is that we shouldn't seek to exclude the city municipalities, because then you're narrowing even further the pool from which you can draw to serve.
I am not persuaded at all. Currently, every member of the Portmore municipality, with the exception of the mayor, is also a member of the. Yes, so we are making a law in expectation of some future which we cannot see. The principle is to exclude all elected officials, all people. We are excluding ourselves, we are excluding senators, and it is only common sense that we should exclude from membership of that board persons who are part of the political process. If you wanted to have any, and if you want to enhance its credibility, then don't leave this loophole. And with respect, I think we understand that situation better than our advisors here. No,
well,
in
look,
that matter.
From the perspective where I sit, it does no harm. It insulates the process. Fine, we have no problem with adding to that the city municipality, if that's what you want to be added.
Add it.
So you're going to amend the fifth schedule?
So, Chairman, we would delete or parish council and replace it with or any city, municipality.
You have heard the amendment to the fifth schedule. Those in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Those against? The ayes have it. I now put the fifth schedule as amended. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? The ayes have it. I put the sixth schedule.
Sixth schedule have anything?
Chairman, there is, I ask, Chairman, so robust is the discussion that everyone is viewing the clauses with keener eyes. And at the end of the day, we will have an improved bill. But we are, I believe, at the end of the amendments.
The sixth schedule is all right. Okay.
You have an amendment to the sixth schedule?
As appears on the amendment sheet.
Do you have an amendment to the sixth schedule?
Only as appears on the amendment sheet.
You put it?
No, not yet. Not yet. Put the title. Because that
I put the title and the enacting clause. Those in favor?
No, there is an amendment
Peter.
to the title that need to put the amendment to the title.
There's an amendment to the title?
As read. As read earlier.
As
To the
read.
long title.
So, those in favor? Those against? As of it. I now put the title as amended. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? As of it. The question is, that I do report the bill as having passed committee stage with amendments.
Yes.
100 amendments. Those in favor?
Leader of opposition.
Those against? As of it.
We say thanks for the cooperation.
Members, I do report the bill as having passed committee stage with 100 amendments. Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, before I move for third reading, I believe that I would be joined by the members of the opposition in expressing appreciation to the team that worked on the national identification bill. They made it a point of duty to meet with all the stakeholders, including meeting with the opposition. And I want to mention for the record Mrs. Jacqueline Lynch Stewart, Mr. Denzel Plummer, and Mr. Warren Vernon and the team, and of course the minister who had direct oversight of it is the leader of government business, Minister Derek Smith, Minister without portfolio in the office of the Prime Minister. And let me thank all the members of the House for carrying through this legislation, including the opposition that executed their role in giving critical oversight. I'm certain we now have a better bill. And of course, and the LegCo committee. Mr. Speaker, it gives me great pleasure to ask for third reading of the bill.
Yeah. So go ahead, read it. Go ahead. But she said it, you know. I beg that the bill be read a third time.
As of it.
A bill entitled An Act to Establish a Body to be called the National Identification and Registration Authority for the Promotion, Establishment, and Regulation of a National Identification System that facilitates the enrollment and registration of all citizens of Jamaica and individuals who are ordinarily resident in Jamaica, and the verification and the authentication of their identity, to provide for the establishment, maintenance, and operation of a data bank to be called the National Civil and Identification Database, for the assignment of a national identification number to every person whose particulars are included in the database, for the issue of national identification cards and certain certificates to individuals whose particulars are included in the database, to facilitate the collection, compilation, analysis, abstraction, and publication of statistical information relating to the commercial, industrial, social, economic, and general activities and condition of the citizens of Jamaica and individuals who are ordinarily resident in Jamaica, and for connected matters, read a third time and passed.
Mr. Speaker, I just want to say that we had a very fruitful afternoon, and I want to thank everybody who participated in the success of the sitting this afternoon. It's not intended to do any further business, sir, and I move that the House be adjourned until next Tuesday, the 26th of September at 2 p.m. sharp.
Members, I wish to ask you, although it is late, we had made arrangement for our visitors from the Parliament, from the British Parliament, to have supper with us, and they're waiting at Devon House. I would expect that a few of you. Now, I think it is important that we at least pass there before we go. This Honourable House now adjourned until the 26th of September. Those in favour? Those against? As have it. House stands adjourned.